All right. Woo. Look. I got that wow. Who wants some hands up right now? We got that. Turn it up loud. I know you're wondering how. I got that wow. Here I go, coming. I can't ever stop. I'm a tour de force running. Get me to the top. I don't need an invitation. I'm about to start a celebration.
Well, good evening. It is evening when we're recording this right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Three Cocktails In. Bonjour. So everyone should know that this literally is the first time that the three of us are seeing each other and talking to each other since
our
Amy
French escapade.
Yes, had their French escapade. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And
we had a little hiatus for sure.
A little hiatus, yes. So I think we should just get right into it because the three of us haven't talked. I have not heard anything from the trip, except seeing photos, which were so fun. So to give everybody sort of a little recap, Amy and Stacey took a little jaunt to Paris. What were the how many days have you been back?
We got back on the 10th.
10th.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So a little more than a week and a half.
Okay. So you're still dreaming of it.
Actually, I'm really excited for tonight because I jumped right back into work. Actually, when I got home, I turned my computer on and I have worked every single day since then. So I haven't really even had time to sit and think about it. And I've got a friend coming over tonight and I'm going to share mementos and photos. Perfect. So I'm super excited to have this little recap.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Perfect. So let's set the stage a little bit. So tell us where you went exactly.
We went to Paris.
Okay.
For most of the time. So we arrived the morning of the 2nd, July 2nd, and we were there, 5 nights?
We went to our second stop, Annecy, on Sunday.
On Sunday.
The 7th.
The 7th,
okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were there, 6 nights in Paris, and then we took a train southeast to a little lake town called Annecy. Yeah, far from the city.
Yep.
Okay. So what inspired you to take this trip? How did it come about? And how did you say, all right, yes, we're doing it. Let's book it.
Yeah. Yeah. Amy called in one day. Well, we've talked about going to Europe somewhere anyway, but she called me one day and said, hey, let's go to France. And I said, okay. I didn't even ask what the day was. I just said, yep, go. No idea where they were going.
I said, no, I'm serious. I've looked online. I found cheap flights, direct flights to Paris. I want to go over 4th of July. And I know that Stacey usually does stuff over 4th of July at her lake cabin or at her house on the lake.
My family was, wait a minute, you're going to be gone the 4th of July? How dare I?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
And so somehow I was able to finagle 10 days off and only had to take 5 days of vacation.
Okay.
So that, when you only get 2 weekends a year and you can't use them back to back, it was kind of like, okay, stars are starting to align.
Okay.
And so, so that's how we ended up in Paris. It was direct flight. It was affordable. The going and the coming had great flights we could choose from.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a little bit convenient. I mean, convenient? I don't know, but easy. It was easy.
Yeah, easy to go, get there and get back.
Okay. Okay. So one of the things that we talked about leading up to your guys' trip was the whole preparation process. And it's so funny too, because I just listened to another podcast recently, and I want to say that it was maybe was it a Mel Robbins? I don't remember, but they were talking about that it's not a phenomenon, but that situation
high.
where the planning process is really significant when uh, when you're
Yes.
always having things to look forward to, right? Very important.
Yes.
So I'm curious to know then, because we know you guys were excited. We knew that you were doing some planning, you were doing some preparation, analyzing things, what were we going to do, when, etc. How did it feel when you first landed in Paris?
Hmm.
Touchdown, those doors open. How did you feel?
Go ahead.
Well, I want to back it up just 1 minute. We got on the plane, and I had booked us seats in Comfort Plus.
Okay.
Okay, so these weren't the bougie ones. These weren't the lay down flat. They weren't even the business whatever where you can extend the legs and whatever. And I worked really hard following those flights to see if I could get us the next step up. And then we were like, screw it. We'll just sit where we were. We had great seats. There was nobody in front of us. There was that wall. So we had plenty of leg room. So that was awesome.
That
Good.
was
Neither one of us slept on the flight more than like an hour and a half.
a little bit.
That was not good. No. Advice, dope yourself up on the flight over.
Because it was a
And
we
nice
were just
flight.
so
wasn't it?
excited. We were just so excited. 8 hours.
8 hours. Yeah.
Okay.
And we left, 4:30
Yep.
US time.
PM,
Okay.
4:30 p.m.
4:30 p.m. So we
Okay.
weren't really ready to sleep. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
that was
It was a little weird. But what I thought was cool about landing, Stacey got off before me, and we had to go out the plane and down the
Down.
stairs onto the
Outside.
tarmac to
Yeah,
get on
outside.
buses to take us into the terminal.
Yeah. So it's
And I
been
was
a
kinda
long time
like-
since I've done that. Yeah.
I'm like, well, this is a little different. And then we got totally jammed, totally squished on this bus to take us. And my thought to myself was, better get used to it. This is what I hear what the metro system is like. And I thought, all right, game on. We are in
Yeah.
Paris.
We're doing
sort of
it.
thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the metro was like that some of the time, not all of the time, but some
Yep.
of the time it was packed. You'd shuffle on and shuffle off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Packed.
Yep. So we made a good decision once we landed, got through everything just fine, and decided we were going to take a taxi to our hotel. We weren't going to try and figure out the metro at that point.
Yeah.
And everything we read said, just do the taxi, forget about the Uber sort of thing. So we did. Slick. Walked on in, dropped our bags off. Cute hotel. Stacey, is there anything you want to say about the hotel?
Say about the hotel. No, it was
And-
tiny.
And my research? Remember how much shit you gave me the last time?
Because no, the hotel was very good, right? But at one point I said, because Amy had the flights booked, right? Real early. And it was getting down to, I think, less than a month.
No, we were still over a month.
Oh, no. I'll go back to the day. It was a month at the most.
Okay.
And it's like, are we ever, and we've looked at 100 hotels, I swear. Right. And I finally got to the point, it's like, no, I finally got to the point, it's like, pick. I didn't care. I know she was going to pick something good. It's like, we won't know any different. So book something because we won't know the difference.
Yeah.
And it was good. I think some of the previous ones would have been equally as good, but again, it took a while to get to the right one.
Yeah.
And it was a good area.
Really nice area. Yep.
Yes, nice area.
Okay.
Super. The rooms were tiny.
Tiny.
Don't even think about your primary bedroom where your bedroom is right now. Think about the average bedroom in your home. 10 by 12,
Yeah.
10 by
Not
14.
not the master, but the other
Yeah.
Okay.
spare bedroom, that size.
That's the size of the hotel room
Or less.
Okay.
or less. I
Smaller.
literally, I had 2 twin beds that were put together, each with their own, sheets and stuff, but put together. And I literally had to do this to get between the foot of the bed and the wall to get to the other side. So
Yeah.
it was tiny. And the bathrooms, tiny, but great water pressure, good products.
Yeah.
So that
Fairly nice and new. Like I felt like the bathroom was new,
Yeah. Yep.
remodeled maybe.
Yeah.
But I think I've stayed at some tiny places in New York City. Some older hotels are tiny, tiny
Yeah.
rooms. So
Yeah.
we expected that.
So that brings me to a piece of advice. So now we got two pieces of advice. Dope yourself up on the flight over so that you can be rested when you wake up. Two, if you're going with friends, get your own hotel rooms. It's really the first time we have. Kind of every time we go somewhere,
Yeah.
Airbnb, it's often that somebody will share a room. Hell, we've been friends forever. It doesn't bother us at all.
No.
Yeah.
Except this
That
was
would have,
nice.
yeah, that would have been a lot, and we always just went to our own room and relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's
Yeah.
the second piece of advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, traveling with friends, it's different than traveling with your family. It's a completely different dynamic. So, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit, because I mean, one of the things that we're consistently talking about here on the podcast is getting out and doing things and enjoying your friends, and doing the things that you always talk about doing, but you're like, oh, someday I'll do that. But these are great things to do with friends.
Yeah.
So
Do it.
do it. How did you two plan your days? Like how did you decide what you were going to do? And
Well, yeah.
laying
We
it out.
pre-booked some things we knew we wanted to do. So a week and a half before we left, or so, maybe a week, we pre-booked some experiences and tours and got our tickets for the museums and that kind of thing ahead of time. So we kind of knew, this day we're going to do this day we're going to do this, and then we filled in the rest, which with whatever.
Yeah.
So
did you two find that you wanted to do the same things, or was one person like, oh, I want to do this, and the other person like,
No,
'cause that can
I
happen.
think we agreed ahead of time.
Yeah.
That was going to be my thing. Like I told my girlfriends today, because we all met today, that Airbnb has an experience section. Everybody should check that out, because I had no idea.
Awesome.
Okay.
I didn't know that was a thing before we started looking around.
I'd never used it, but both my sister and Madeline, my oldest, who had been to Paris in the last 5 years, had both booked different experiences through Airbnb. And I found, did we do 3 of them, or did 2 of our things come through there? I think 2.
Oh, at least 2.
Yeah.
I think the museums we booked on the side, just with the museum.
Yep. I thought they were great, and they were small and personable. And, so we picked like the one thing, like Stacey said, and then we built the day around that in that area.
Okay.
So we kind of had some different areas that we wanted to go to. We, as in me, made one small mistake. And I don't know, Stacey, if you'd even consider it a mistake. We did that night. The museum day. The museum day, we walked 12 miles.
We did. That was a long dang day.
That was was that the third day we were there?
Maybe the third.
The third day, yeah. Yeah. That was great, but oh my God, so tired.
Yeah,
So
there was a lot of walking.
Oh, that brings me to my advice number 3. Okay, you know how when you go on vacation, especially to a hot place, we thought that we would like come home from our day of sightseeing and rest a little bit and take a shower and then go out for dinner? Nope.
I think we did it once or twice. We did, considering. I think we did it once or twice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The one, I think the museum day was like, I'm done.
So
and it was good. It was awesome. But, nope.
Yeah. We just ended up eating on the way home. So with that idea is I came home, I bought those packing cubes. Great idea. Never used them before. I will never go anywhere without packing cubes ever
That's
again.
my next purchase, Amazon purchase.
Yeah.
What is a packing cube?
Oh my God, Kitty, it's going to change your life.
Yep.
Okay.
They're and I'll share the link of the one I bought because I liked them. They weren't, super expensive.
Yeah.
They're different sizes of zipper compartments that you can put all your clothes in, zipper it shut, and then you just have these cubes in your side of the suitcase. So your clothes aren't falling all over the place. So if you just need to get socks out, they're in this bag. If you just need to get this out, they're in that bag.
Okay.
And when we got up to go from Paris to the other place, I was able to put all my dirty clothes in one zip bag. So then I didn't ever have to get into that ever
money.
again. But my point about how we didn't go out for dinner anywhere was that I came home with a whole probably 11 by 14 with probably 6 shirts, 2 dresses, 2 wraps that I never used. I didn't need those. So I way overpacked because I took a big suitcase. I'm like, oh, I've got room.
Yeah.
No. Not doing that again. Got a little heavy
feel
at
like
the end.
I feel like we always overpack.
Yeah. Well, in our defense, we were not
I don't know
sure.
how not to.
Yeah. We weren't sure, are we going to need long sleeves or, what's the weather going to be like? We didn't know what 72 in the middle of Paris is going to feel like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a little cool in the morning and warm in the afternoon for sure. Warm enough for short sleeves or sleeves. So then we were, what do we put on?
Well, my problem is always, I'm going to have to take the bigger suitcase, so I might as well throw more things in.
Yeah.
With
True.
these packing cubes, you could actually have, because if you take a big suitcase and you don't fill it, crap flies all over the place and it's a mess. With the packing cubes, that wouldn't happen. And then I wouldn't have had to buy an extra bag to carry some of my stuff home.
Okay.
Bummer that I had to buy a really pretty green handbag to put stuff in.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
So, okay. So Paris, when you think about Paris, you get a vibe. It's got all of this charm. It's very romantic. Was there anything about Paris in particular that surprised you? Anything that really, I wasn't expecting this.
I was not, okay. I think I said that in one of my posts. I was expecting that that somebody was going to try and pickpocket us or scam us because that's all over Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is.
We didn't even see one scammer. We didn't have anybody try and pickpocket us.
No.
I at no time felt unsafe walking around.
We might have seen 2 homeless people. I expected it to be more big city,
Mm-hmm.
Hardly ever saw that. Fairly clean, we were worried about how dirty it was going to be. No, clean.
Yep.
How were the interactions with people who live there? Did everybody speak English?
I think the only time you ran into an issue is when you had a question about the metro ticket and the woman wouldn't talk to you.
Oh, yeah. That's the only time. I went up to the customer service and I said, "Do you speak English?" She said, "No." And turn around.
I had that exact same experience in Rome. It was the ticket lady. It was a help person at the metro. Yeah, she was like, "No, I am not going to help you."
Yeah.
Her life's going to be a living hell starting now through the end of the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
She's going to get asked a ton of questions. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we're just, we figured the metro out after the first time. It was just, you had to be there and see it. And, this is how it goes.
Yes. That surprised me that it turned out to be as easy as it was.
Yeah.
It really was easy.
Yeah. It was.
Cool. And so, are things written in English as well as in French?
You don't really need it written in English because
No.
it's the drawing of where the line goes with
Okay.
all of the stops labeled.
Okay.
And
So-
each endpoint,
Yep.
so like
Yeah.
one that we wrote a lot, one end was Bologna and the other one was Austerlitz. We just knew those were the ends. So that's how you got which direction you were going.
Yeah.
And then sortie, that's exit. So that's probably not even how you say it, but we always did. Sortie. There we go.
Yeah.
So that's how we knew where to get out. Yeah. Other than that, no, you didn't need to.
And it really did help everywhere you go. And I've noticed this here. So that's always interesting when you come back from a trip to compare, especially because I do live in a city and I have walked around a little bit. You greet everyone you see in Paris with a bonjour, 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 bonsoir, bonne nuit. Whatever, everybody, you step in a shop and you automatically do it. And I've noticed we don't do it here. You wouldn't just walk in a shop and see somebody go, oh, hello, hello. You don't go into the grocery store and as soon as you see a worker go, hello, hello. And you do there.
Every time.
Everybody.
Interesting.
And I think we should. I mean, how nice. What a nice thing. Just have a smile and say hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. There were most of the time, I think the waiters and waitresses spoke English or tried to. The one in the ice cream shop, she wanted us to speak English so she could learn what we were trying to say. So she could practice. She was younger. There's only a couple of times where it's like, I got, they had nothing and weren't trying very hard. But otherwise,
I could not believe how much
than I thought.
Yeah, how much gelato they ate. There was gelato stands everywhere. Everywhere.
2 or 3 per block. Just every other place was gelato. So we had our fair share of ice cream gelato.
Is that just a European thing in general? Because obviously it was the same way in Italy. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
So maybe that's just a European thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing they don't have I don't know. What the hell do I know? They sure use cows for cheese.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Can we talk about one of our first experience?
Yes.
Is that okay? We went to a wine and cheese tasting the first afternoon that we were there, thinking that would be a great idea. So then we'd know. Okay, here's something I didn't understand. In France, you don't order wine according to grape. You order wine according to region. So where here we'd order a Chardonnay, there they order, get it? Chablis.
Chablis.
You know what a horrible name Chablis has for white wine. What's your first thought? 1970s crap wine or something?
No, it was very good.
It was really good because it was Chardonnay grapes from Chablis. So we did that. But then they gave us this whole tray of cheeses. And Stacey and I are looking at it, and we like cheese. We're looking and going, is that mold on the rind? How are we going to get...
There was one that was very green. But we liked it. Hairy and green. Yes. Hairy and green. But we liked it okay. We liked all of them, for the most part. Yeah.
Yes. You know, Kitty, I know you don't like to eat the edges of brie.
No.
Yeah.
This would have, I wanted to see you try this cheese. That had,
I think you would have.
Just the edge. Yeah. So that was fun. And I'm really glad we did that because we did buy some wine then, going on. And we pretty much knew what kind of wines to order. So that was fun.
Very fun. So, as you envisioned the trip, and I think anytime you think about a place like Paris, especially if you've not been there before, you have these iconic things in your mind. Can you pick each of you, what was a moment where you were like, we're doing it. We're here. I never thought I would stand here. I never thought I would see this in real life, a pinch me moment or something. Pick one thing. I'm sure you had more than one, but.
Oh yeah. We had
Stacey, you go first.
Going into it, I knew we would not have time to do everything. So back to when we planned it and planned our little things that we did, or side trips, as we had 3, and those things, I think we picked the most important things we really had to do. And then we had a couple other days, like the day we came back from Annecy, we had a pretty full day. We could have done, a lot more. There were other times we could have done stuff. If I had to pick one thing, I think the Louvre would be definitely iconic. I don't think you can go and not go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Eiffel Tower, thanks to the Olympics, has all the construction and stuff around it. So that was a little harder, but we did get pictures from afar. But I think the Louvre was probably, I think you have to do that.
Yeah.
However, I can imagine what Amy's is going to be, which would probably be, close second, I would say.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think it's the Louvre, which will surprise me. I don't think that was probably your favorite.
I loved the Louvre. That's the second time I've been, but I told Stacey ahead of time, you could plot me in any museum and I could spend the whole day there.
Yeah.
So I've got no problem with that.
Yeah.
I actually have 2. I can't pick one.
Yeah, it's hard.
The first I'm going to say is we went to Versailles the very first full day, and we rode bikes.
Yeah.
The whole day.
Cool.
That was so cool. I'm a sucker for a palace with brocade, and that's what I liked about the Louvre too. We went through. So at the Louvre, we went through Napoleon and Marie Antoinette's apartment, which was super cool.
So cool.
Same thing at Versailles. You got to go through Louis the 14th, 15th, 16th. That was their get out of Paris palace.
Yeah.
So that was just super cool. So I loved Versailles. And then the other one, we were just there for an hour, but it was just tingly. And that was the Dior Gallery.
Museum. Yeah.
So we got to see Dior dresses from the 50s all the way to current day. And they had this staircase, and it was glass
Display.
And they had miniature dresses of everything. Miniature.
Not
This
just
big.
dresses, purses, shoes, all these
Roaches,
little things,
tiaras,
all the way up. Yeah.
all of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. So those would be my 2 favorite. And then I loved Annecy just because.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So
Mountain
we went
Lake.
from Paris City, to Annecy, beautiful. You know what I mean? Beautiful, the little, cobblestone, walkways, no cars right where we were, bridges, it had a canal, and a big lake. So beautiful.
Kitty, I think we could have gotten you in that lake. It was crystal clear. You could see everything. Everything. It was aquamarine. It was gorgeous.
Yeah,
All right.
It was colder than hell.
It was cold, yes, but it was pretty.
Okay,
Go
that
figure, it was
works.
up in the mountains.
That works. So, for our listeners and viewers, if you don't follow us on Facebook, make sure you follow us on Facebook, because Amy and Stacey did share some photos and some videos over there on our page, 3 Cocktails In. So, go and.
I have a guest. I have a guest
You have a guest in your house.
Make dinner.
And one of them was you guys sitting in Monet's garden.
Oh, it was so. Yes. So fabulous.
Like I said, that would have been my Versailles and Giverny would be my 2. And I couldn't choose which was better based on those 2.
Yeah.
Because that was so, oh my gosh. We have 100 flower pictures.
Yes.
Literally.
And we kept taking pictures like, what is this?
What is this? I don't, We knew, obviously, we kind of both like flowers, so we knew a lot, but there would be some that's like, oh my gosh, what is that? That's just beautiful.
And they didn't have any of those sticks. We were saying they really should have sticks in here telling us what these things are.
Yeah, there was no markers anywhere. Nothing, what would we say? Nothing other than the plants and a little bit of fencing and a bridge,
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah, that was a really beautiful day too.
Yeah.
It made me want a farmhouse. You know, I'm
Mm.
not a farm person,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd love a
You could do a
farmhouse
garden. Yeah,
with
with a
an
garden.
acre and
Yeah.
a staff to weed it. Let's
Yeah.
be honest.
Yeah.
For sure.
You've
Yeah.
given lots of little pieces of advice. What other advice would you give, particularly to, you know, women who are thinking about maybe they've never done a trip like this ever
Mhm.
before, going with a friend? What else would you tell or share
Mm.
on how to make it successful and not stressful?
I don't know. Yeah, just do it. Your question where, was there something that one of us would do and the other one didn't want to? Like I said, we knew we were not going to get everything done. And again, you don't know, is this good? This bad? Everything was fabulous. So there was
Mhm.
never we don't want to do this.
Yeah.
We never planned where we were going to eat. We just would go and, oh, we're hungry. So we're going to eat here.
Yeah.
Never found a bad place. So
Yep.
that's the thing we didn't plan,
Mhm.
is the restaurants we were going to eat at. So
I would suggest if you wanted to go on a big new trip like this, to pick one friend. I don't think you could go to something like this with a large group.
with girls' weekend,
It's too much.
Yeah.
You would have to be able to go and you'd have to know ahead of time that we're not all doing things together.
Mm-hmm.
If we
And
all
that's
if we
okay.
all want to go to the
Right.
Louvre,
Yeah.
we're gonna leave at this time and we're gonna come home at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever you do inside of that, you have to be okay. But I think too many people would make it way too challenging for logistically,
yeah,
it would get hard.
it would. If you had more, like if you had four or more, that'd be hard. Amy and I could always keep track of each other. Very
And we
easy.
didn't
We could
stand
have had-
side by side the whole time. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
if she was looking at buying some art and I had looked there, I'm like, I'm going around, I'm circling around.
Yeah.
She's like, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
With too many people, I don't know how you'd ever,
No.
get
You'd
back.
have to really have some autonomy there.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that I did know that I wanted to go. And I knew that by asking Stacey, Kitty, of course we asked you, but I knew you had a bunch of travel planned and you had already gone to Italy this year. So it's,
Yeah.
I knew that that wasn't really going to probably be in the cards.
Yeah.
But I do know with Stacey, she and I
do
have
it.
known each other long enough that we're both like, yeah, okay,
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Sure, I'll go there. Whatever.
yeah, that's fine. And there were a couple times when we stopped and were like, well, do you want to do this? Do you want to? And we're like, I don't think now I need to.
I know,
Like,
right?
okay. So that was good.
Yeah.
Can I tell about the one little tiff we had one night?
Oh, but I want to say I did not feel very good that day.
Right.
But yes, you
Yes.
can. And say
Okay.
why.
Yes. So this was I'm going to say it was technology based, was the
Yes.
root of the problem. And
Yes.
I shared a funny meme about two people using their Google Maps to get them where they need to be. And they start walking this way
This
in
way.
one direction, like
Turn
20
around.
feet.
They go
And then they
this
turn around
way.
and go the other way.
They go
It
that way.
happened to us literally every
time.
single time.
Yes. Yes.
Stacy's got an Android. I was bullied into getting an Apple phone like a year and a half ago. Okay. For whatever reason, and Stacey really took it upon herself to map out how we were going to go on the metro and how we were going to get places. Remember when I said I wanted to be passenger princess?
Yeah.
And she was, yes, I tried really hard. But then my type A control freak personality would kick in.
Yeah.
And by about day
He would get so mad at me because I would go one way and we'd have to turn around and go the other way. I said, fine, you do it.
I was never mad at you. I was mad at the phones.
I know.
It was never mad at
so
you.
irritating.
It was so irritating. But one day, it was towards the end of the day, and Stacey was getting a little irritated. And we figured out the next day she really wasn't feeling well. But I looked at her and I started laughing. I'm like, whoa, somebody a little hangry? I'm like, do we need to get you some food?
Yep.
Which we both needed food.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we sit down and Stacey goes, It's not just that.
It's the
You
super
always
phone.
make a plan and you never stick to it.
Never stick to it.
And I went,
Oh,
no.
yep,
Yeah.
you're probably right. I've lived by myself for the last 3 years. I do change my mind all the time. And I apologized. And,
And the taxi
and after
thing.
that, I totally was aware of it then.
The taxi thing. She could not go ask the taxi driver how much it would cost to take us to somewhere. And I just, fine, I'll go ask him. You know, is it going to be, because I had no idea. Is this a $10 thing or is this a $50 thing? You know what I mean? It's $20. Yeah. Oh, she couldn't go ask him. Oh my gosh.
I know. So
it's bound to happen.
Yeah. Oh, and I thought
Right.
that was so minor. And know, and she was right. She was right. I do say, oh well, let's just turn here.
Yeah. Okay.
So
sure.
you have to allow each other grace.
Yeah.
And also, you know what? If it's bugging you, just say something.
Right.
Just say something.
We don't have that problem. That is for sure. We don't have that problem. If we don't like
I
it,
think
we're
we
going to
did a good job with that.
Oh yeah.
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 So it was a great success. It took you guys a while for your first post to show up. So much so that, and I probably wasn't, doing the time calculation. And I was going to send you guys a message and say, hello, because this is starting to feel like a Taken moment here. Do I have to get a hold of Liam Neeson because you guys have vanished?
Yeah.
Well, you have to remember, we were probably really posting stuff in when it was night for us, which is way, later for you.
Yeah.
You know what
We
I
were
mean?
8 hours ahead.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Yeah, we
I'm
did
so glad that you guys had a blast, and now you've got all of these wonderful memories, and I'm quite certain that you brought something lovely back for me. So I look forward to getting that.
We actually did, Kitty. We did bring you back something.
we
Okay,
do. We
good.
have something for you, but we have to see you to give it to you.
I know.
I know.
Good.
You'll have to wait.
Good.
So this week I'm going to share. I'm going to try and upload all those little video snippets that we posted. I'm going to try and put them on YouTube,
Perfect.
on our channel.
Okay.
I mean, if you wanted to go and look or listen to those, you could see those, because I know a lot of people aren't on Facebook, so they can hear those and kind of see where we're at.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to put a slideshow together kind of all the photos that we can drop a file into so people can take a look at what we did.
Yeah. Perfect. Good. And hopefully it inspires people to do it. If you've been thinking about doing it forever, and maybe it's not Paris, maybe it's somewhere else, maybe it's Savannah, Georgia. That's been on my list forever. I want to go to Stacey, you and I have talked about that before.
Yep.
Wherever it is, put a date on the calendar. First of all, just say, I'm going to do it. Speak it into existence. Say, I'm going to do it. Then put a date on the calendar and start to make some plans.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yes. Okay.
Stuff is getting like they're making margaritas over there. They're making margaritas. So you go. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys for hanging out with us again. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Woo. Look. I got that wow. Who wants some hands up right now? We got that. Turn it up loud. I know you're wondering how. I got that wow. Here I go, coming. I can't ever stop. I'm a tour de force running. Get me to the top. I don't need an invitation. Knock, knock. I'm about to start a celebration. Let me in. Brought a good time plus some friends. Turn it up loud past 10. Turning up the crowd when I hit 'em.